there, pop stars. Welcome to the latest edition of the Wine Down ReWine, latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
I'm working show announcer. Like the Price is Right, dude. I think that would be a cool job to be like a talk show announcer.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that to you.
Not saying that I have the voice for it, but I'm gonna keep working on it.
I'm sure he gets
You
paid
don't
good
have.
money.
I'm sure they do too. Like it would be cool to have like an iconic voice like Morgan Freeman or James Earl Jones or somebody like that. But we'll see. All right. Well, this week on the Rewind, we of course start unfortunately with our rest in peace segment and some news for the K-pop world. Moonbin of Astro unfortunately passed away. He was 25 years old. There's no official cause of death, but they're leaning toward suicide. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it I had this, and this was before I became a K-pop stan. But just being a K-pop stan and researching the different groups and the people I like now, finding out what group they're in, but this gives to me one of my first thoughts was it kind of reminded me a little bit of Shiny and their
Mhm.
leak seemed unexpected. And then I was reading some other stuff in like the K-pop world, some of the K-pop blogs and publications, and they were of the people, a lot of the hardcore K-pop fans, um, and a lot of people in Korea, it's resonating that way too. Like that's how it's hitting them too. Is it's bringing back Shiny and what happened to them when they lost their lead singer.
I agree. I wasn't a K-pop fan at that time either because I'm a COVID K-pop fan. But but I am a fan of Shiny, and I do like the group. Once I was introduced to them, and the first thought for everybody was, um, oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest. I cannot say his name correctly, and I don't want to mess up his name. I do know it begins with a J. But like you said, the lead singer of Shiny, it was the same thing, and how it just like really broke the hearts of the K-pop world when he committed suicide and with his group. I do think there is some differences between Moonbin and the Shiny situation, because I look at Shiny and I think of just how broken they were and how close they were. Because for people that don't know, like Taemin came into the industry when he was like 12, 13 years old is when he debuted. And so he was really, really young. He was still a teenager, almost an adult when he lost basically, his friend, an older brother to him, on just how close they are and how they've just been together for so long. And I think like for Astro, I don't necessarily get that same vibe overall between them. They'd all just re-signed except for Rocky. Like they just had a member leave the group. And what's funny to me is, I don't know if maybe you've seen anything, if you read any of the articles, but never once was Rocky mentioned on this whole thing, like the funeral and everything like that. They mentioned, other people from other K-pop groups, but like it was like as soon as Rocky left Astro, he was invisible. Like not invisible, he was like non-existent to them. Like he did not exist to to the group or anything like that. Because I was like, I'd like to know, like, you just left the group and then you lose a member. So how was that necessarily? But it just wasn't as emotional, I think, as it was when it was Shiny. But it's still very, very sad. I will say that it's extremely sad.
Yeah. And it kind of I like I think to the K-pop fan, maybe someone who, you know, just is like, oh, I like BTS. Hey, but if you haven't really gotten into some of the underbelly of Korean culture and the idol life and just pop culture, it can be very dark. And I saw an interesting article that was just saying how, this kind of exposes that some of the they're under, and
Mm-hmm.
just um, it's just a very, so I'm praying for him, his family, his fans, the surviving members of the group. And anyone else out there that's dealing with something, that's thinking about this, it does get better. We everyone has their something. We all have our struggles, and it may not get better overnight, better the next day, but give it time, and ask for help, and find someone to talk to, and it will. Um, so, but also, um, and rest in peace segment. Jerry Springer passed away. Rest in peace to Jerry Springer. And this was he passed away with pancreatic cancer. And I, he, I I was trying to explain his legacy to some people who didn't know what it was, and it's hard to explain. On one hand, he's a pop culture icon and he left a legacy because growing up, we knew Jerry Springer and we watched it, and it was a hot mess. It was a toxic hot mess, looking back on it. But Jerry Springer, when you were sick home from school or in college, that was part of the afternoon lineup, is the Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, all of that stuff. And I was saying that that was probably the gateway to lead us to now what we have is this toxic reality TV, Real Housewives, all of that stuff. It gives Jerry Springer in that original daytime talk show trope to me, and so it's like, were you a Jerry Springer fan? Did you watch his show?
Who didn't watch Jerry Springer? Like, you are not the father. Like, you was just waiting for that, even though you know it was coming. You knew it was coming, and you be waiting, and then you be cracking up over the theatrics. Oh my God! Like, they running off the stage. Girl, you knew that man wasn't your baby daddy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was a fan. Same way, college, high school, middle school. Like, we grew up on Jerry Springer.
Yeah, and it's so it's just, may he rest in, and I just the legacy he leaves behind, it's a mixed one, but it was part of our foundational years, part of our it's just like, but I also think that versus today, we somehow, I don't know what it is, but we just knew it wasn't necessarily real. Like, there was just a hint of the theatrics and the dramatics. Like, you watched it and you knew, because I'm always thinking to come on TV to act a fucking food like this. Like, for real, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's definitely not a rest in peace moment. I'm just gonna say it, but yeah, for the death or the murder of Emmett Till, Carolyn Bryant Denham, Don, her name is, she passed away, and um, I don't know if you saw Twitter when it happened, but uh, I I again, it kind of reminded me. Let me put it this way: how we do. So it was like when the Queen passed away in Irish Twitter.
Oh, I saw how people
Oh,
responded.
oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. This
you know
woman got
what?
to spend the next 60, 70 years of her life living out her life, married, children, grandkids,
Grandchildren.
maybe some great grandchildren. And Emmett Till was murdered when he was 14 years old over a lie that this woman took. Good riddance. I'm sorry. There are certain people that you just shrug your shoulders about, and she's a shrugging
Hmm.
of the shoulders. Don't nobody fucking care but her family.
Yeah, because and you know how I feel. I try not to speak ill of the dead. It doesn't change my feelings about you, but I just figure you're not here anymore. So, but for that, that was really one of those cases. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, or just go on Twitter and let them say it for you and say a couple, say a pro fathers. Because but yeah, it that was not anything I could. I'm sorry, I cannot. Um, everybody, someone to somebody to someone, but that was just like, oh, okay. And someone else said something. And I'm like, but she brought it on herself because up until when did she when did she go public? When did she out herself? Trying to a little less than 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago, or whatever. Like, no one
Well, the
even
first time
really.
was in the first time was in the 90s. Yeah, and then I think the 2000s it came up again, and she spoke out again with the bullshit, and yeah. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it was
so
a couple, but I know definitely in the 90s, maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, it was announced that she said that she lied, bitch.
yeah, and somehow just recently, within the past 10 years, it all and it was just like, really. um so yeah, I think in the height of the new frenzy, I think she spoke out or something, and I'm just like, God. But yeah, I was over it anyway. Continued recovery blessings to Jamie Foxx, who is continuing to recover from his medical emergency, which was reported as a stroke. So awake and alert, and that was the last report we got. Eric Brayton, Victor Newman announced that he has. So get well, cover, get well blessings to him. Did you when you watched soaps? Did you watch Young and the Restless?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but
It was
even
Young and the Restless and the ABC ones. That's what
yeah,
I watched.
but you know what? I feel like even the casual or non-casual sport,
Knows
even
who
if
he
you
is.
and I feel like there's two people in modern day soaps, maybe three, that you know who they are, even if you do not feel like Victor Newman, Luke Spencer, and Sonny Corinthos.
Eh,
Like
no. No. You
what?
get Laura. They know
You do know
Laura. You
Laura, Luke and Laura, yeah.
Luke and Laura, Victor Newman. I won't even like sleep on Days of Our Lives because I know Victor
Bo and Hope,
no,
Kyriakis.
because of yes. Like that whole family, like, and Bo and Hope. So I mean there's a couple, but you definitely know Sonny. You do know Sonny Corinthos.
And my
Um
bad for leaving or Jimmy Francis. Tag that to my head and
Yeah,
on my heart because
like
I watch General
Luke,
Hospital every
Luke and
day.
Laura. Everybody knows
Yeah,
Luke and Laura. Everybody knows Victor Newman. Definitely, I would say probably top three would be them three.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a very extremely iconic.
yeah. And I watch General Hospital every day, like every day, even if I have to hit the fast of some of the shenanigans. But that's my show. That's my happy place. That calms me down. So I go after I've dealt with real world bullshit. I come home and deal with soap opera bullshit. But that's my happy place. So, but still get well. I yeah. Anyway, speaking of real world, not going much into this, just an update. Suing DeSantis on First Amendment grounds, so we'll see how that plays out in the courts. I don't think anyone was surprised that was the next. As DeSantis, he reminds me of that kid who knows like he's smarter than the stupid ass, but the stupid ass is just still so popular or whatever that he can't it takes to get the attention away from the ass, but it's not working. So he's just going further and trying to be even more and more extreme. but it's not working. Like nothing he does can take attention away the Mango Mussolini, who's still the Republican front runner. So it's like he just keeps doing even more stupid stuff. But
I can
yeah,
say
so
people are saying, "Oh, he's going to run for president. He's going to run for president." This is when we're going to know that he's actually running for president, because at the moment, I think he's still thinking about it.
mm-hmm.
It's when he starts trying to tame down what he's doing, or when he does more of it behind closed doors and he stops holding these news segments and everything like that, talking about, you know, going after Disney and everything like that. When he starts calming down about going against Disney, and you see him stop talking about him and Disney and this beef they got, then I'm gonna be like, okay, he's gonna run for president. But until then, he's not running for president.
So even you don't think all the international trips internationally and not being in your state when it's going under, when it's literally underwater, like the city of Fort Lauderdale a couple of weeks ago, and rather than I call it their version of Harvey, like it was their 1,000-year flooding event, and home to his state. He and him try to fix it. What he does, he begs Biden to declare Fort Lauderdale a federal disaster area, so the federal government will have to come in and clean it up. But this again, for the person who doesn't want anything from the federal government, who doesn't believe in handouts, and Floridians can.
Yeah, I don't. All of this is theatrics, and I'm not saying he's not trying to make a name for himself nationally, and I'm not saying that he's not thinking of his end game, because I could see him one day having a news show. But at this point, until he starts going more middle of the road, I don't see him necessarily running for president. I just don't see him running for president, because this whole thing is, yeah, it's working for you in Florida, but it'll only work in the red states that don't have enough electoral votes. Let's be honest. So yeah, this is not a national campaign. He's not running a national campaign. And when he starts running a national campaign, then I'll believe that he's running for president. But this is not a national campaign.
Do you think he can take out the Mango Mussolini?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Cool.
I think he can get more votes than Trump.
Okay.
Trump's scared of him.
He is. I think they're kind of scared of each other. They both need to go sit down somewhere. But yeah, Mussolini, he was on trial this week. The rape case, E. Jean Carroll, is going on. It started this. Fulton County prosecutor, she advised, Miss Bonnie Lewis advised Georgia law enforcement to beef up their security this summer. I think the indictment announcement is. I want to say whenever the way their court system set up, their courts go back in session, or the next grand jury goes back in session, which I can't either June 1st or July 1st. So by the summer, we will know whether or not he's going to actually face indictment and all of that. So, speaking of Fulton County, did you hear the story about the dude who was eaten alive by the insects and the bed bugs in the Fulton County jail?
No.
I was like, no, I'm being serious. It was disgusting, but the psych ward, he was arrested for he was arrested for assault, and then they put him. Found out they figured out he was mentally ill, and he had his where he was infested with all these insects and bugs and bed bugs, and it like that's not something that happens overnight. The guards knew that his health was deteriorating, and they did nothing, and they let this man basically be eaten alive. And So Colin Kaepernick is paying for an official autopsy to determine the official cause of death and everything. So just that, but that's just really like I was telling someone I know it's prison and it's not supposed to be the fucking Four Seasons, but it's also not supposed to be somewhere where you and you live like that. Like we wouldn't even let animals live like that. But you don't treat. I mean, it's like that's a violation of the Eighth Amendment. That's me going off on my lawyer speak. But yeah, so just listen out for that case too. So summer's coming up. Do you have any travel plans for the summer?
I'm going home.
Going back to Jersey? Going back to the swamp?
Yes. Yes. I'm never gonna comment on it. I'm just gonna say yes.
Did you go? Wait, you went last year or the year before last?
I went last year, but my I'm not gonna tell you how old I am. But one of my high school reunions is this year. So my best friend wants to go, and she'll go if I go. So I'm gonna go home just to, because you're not supposed to go to Spain, but that kind of fell through with personal issues. But so instead of going to Spain, I'm going back to Jersey.
Okay,
I'm trying to head up to Canada. I'm trying to head up to Canada. Hang out with the Canadians.
That would be. Just be aware that the U.S. when you're traveling this summer, because our neighbors in Canada, they're one of on a travel advisory. Australia, UK, New Zealand, and several others have placed the United States on travel advisory.
Why?
Because us and our we're like the fucking wild west. Just the record number of mass shootings, and so you ask what hyperbolic and are they being over the top with it? Let's see. You have the kid in Kansas City who was shot because he accidentally went to the wrong house to pick up his brothers. Old ass dude shot him in the head, told him don't come back around here. And he had to basically go to 3 houses before he could get help. So you have that one. Then, the was shot in New York because they turned around in the dude's driveway. Just driving down the street, realized on the street, just kind of barely pull up in someone's driveway to turn around. Yeah, he unloads on them. You have the cheerleader. Now, the next 3 are here in Texas, so they might want to put Texas front and center on that list. The cheerleaders who were shot because in the wrong car, not on purpose. They just walked up to the wrong car thinking it was theirs. And yesterday, I did the same thing. My car is in the shop. Long story, it pisses me off every time I think about it. But my car is in the shop, and I have that looks like, and my car has that distinct color, so I can kind of tell it apart. I can tell it apart. Well, I just have a white loaner car, other car that looked exactly like the car I have, and I go and I try to open it up, and it won't open. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm looking in, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not my car. And the first thing I thought is like, damn, I could have got shot. Like that. My mindset, like, oh shit, this is not my car, and thank God I didn't get shot. That's where my mind went. So that's us here. You have the dude. Did you hear? Now this one happened here in Houston. Did you hear about the dude who went on the date? There was a dude who went on a date. I guess they were at downtown somewhere, and they were at a burger joint. So and the parking attendant said, and some places downtown you do actually have to pay to park, right? So the parking attendant said it's going to be $20 per car. He said, okay. So he was a gentleman. He paid for both his and his date's car. Goes in the restaurant, says something about the parking, finds out that, hey, you don't actually have to pay to park at that restaurant. So I guess he gets conned or scammed out of $40. So he tells his date he's going to go scare the guy and get the money back, right? Motherfucker shot and killed him. But wait,
Shot
here's
and killed
here's
who?
who scammed him out of the $40.
Shot
But
and killed the
then,
guy.
no, the guy who got scammed out of back and shot and killed the parking attendant.
Oh,
Then the
okay.
motherfucker goes back to resume his date
Like nothing happened.
like nothing happened. So the appetizer, I guess, was murder with yeah, like for real. And so he goes back to resume his date. So all of a sudden, though, he doesn't want to eat at that place anymore because, you know, he got scammed out of his $40. Somewhere else to eat because I guess he doesn't want to eat at the place where he just murdered a dude. So 2 days later, the lady is watching, and you know, because they have the camera footage, so it was like Crime Stoppers, like, hey, have you seen this couple? If you see, so she sees them on Crime calls, and she's like, oh no no no, get me off of this shit. This is look, this is what I know. This is it's like for real. So yeah, I think. And then the dude in Cleveland who shot up the family because they asked him to stop shooting his AR-15 out in the middle of the day sleep, and he goes, I can do whatever I want in my yard. And then he follows them home and he shoots up everybody. He kills everybody in the house, just about. That's why the United States is on a travel advisory.
I don't think that UK can talk. I understand Canada and Australia, but UK got their own shit going on over there. And it may not be gun violence, but they in a glass house themselves.
You're talking about the clusterfuck.
Yes. And they're like racist government. And like they're going too far with this immigration thing. I don't know if y'all pay attention because I be watching that British news because some of them are really really good. I wish we had some of these actual reporters over here and TV hosts because they be speaking truth. But yeah, like you got people whose families are from India and other countries who ain't even white British. And they just as racist as the white British, talking about immigration and trying to send them to Rwanda. Britain needs to take several seats. Just say.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I
But I
just
understand. We got a gun
I
problem
see
in this country.
we do. Just be careful. It is it's crazy, and they don't want to. In the states who are passing the common sense gun laws, the ones that are those are the safer states. Some states like Florida and Texas telling you that New York and California are more dangerous than Texas and Florida and have the highest crime rates. I don't believe the hype because they're absolutely positively lying to you. But so hopefully this is why elections matter. To get these people out of office and at least restore some common sense to our politics. Anyway, speaking of which, in the news, I know you heard Don Lemonhead and Tucker Carlson got fired this past week. Any thoughts?
What are your thoughts, Eddie?
Don Lemon, it was coming out that he was becoming prop. After CNN, I'm not surprised. After the CNN was taken over by the conservative whoever, I forgot who he is, but he's a big conservative Republican donor. I and they did that mass firing of like all the old heads, all the people. I was surprised that he didn't get put out to pasture then. So I knew it was fine. And all the stuff that was coming out, not defending him, but all the stuff that was coming out about his problematic behavior and all of it was coming. But the reason why they supposedly fired him is because he was pushing back on some who was on the show saying that black people only got our civil rights because we used the Second Amendment, or when the Second Amendment was in place after the Civil War and all that shit. And I'm like, really? So you're that fucking stupid? And so when Lemon was pushing back on that, and that was like that he did. So they were saying that's why he got fired. But I'm
That's
not
why he got
surprised.
fired.
Huh?
That's not why he got fired.
Yeah. I mean, if that's part of it, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it took him this long, but it doesn't surprise me. Tucker Carlson, I goodness, Tucker Carlson kind of surprised me, but it didn't. I think his particular brand of bullshit became too much. It cost him 200. It cost Rupert Murdoch $800 million, and I think that Carlson became the rabbit dog to bite the hand that fed him. So they couldn't put him back. So I think that has a lot to do with his being let go. Is his firing going to change Fox News? No. Are they going to stop being absolutely shit info news? No. They're just another dog to put on a leash, that one that they can't control. But Carlson's going to land on his feet. He's going to either start doing he's going to go to Newsmax. He's going to do something like this. We haven't heard the end of Tucker Carlson. So, yeah. Thoughts?
Don Lemon was fired because he's a fucking asshole. He didn't know for years. Don Lemon was a horrible human being at CNN. And he got too big for his britches. Because he would talk disrespectfully to his female coworkers, anyone that he felt was beneath him. They said behind the scenes, he was horrible to them. He threatened his coworkers and his colleagues on like, do you know who I am? And all this other stuff. So I think they let him get away with as much as he could but when they took his nighttime show away, it was only a matter of time.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
They literally took your prime time show away from you. It was a matter of time. They were planning out how to fire you at that point when they put you on a morning show. And they put you on a morning show with two young reporters, young and women. Come on now. They were setting you up, which you deserve for how you've been acting. But they were setting you up. Okay? Because they'd heard about how you treated women, the stuff that you would say to your colleagues, and then they put you on a morning show with two young women as your co-host, and you showed your ass, and you got fired, and then you lied about it, trying to get sympathy from people. You got fired, and it was deserved. I'm going to say that for Don Lemon. You got fired, and it was deserved. And it's really, really sad because there goes another representation off the screen because you ain't know how to act. That's sad. That's sad for the culture. What?
I was going to say, so that leaves Reed and Lester Holt as the only main black prime
time. Yeah.
Prime time as far as mainstream media news people go, represent.
Yeah.
Joy and Dawn.
Trevor Noah's gone, and I would count because that was the news. They made it, they made you laugh while they said it, but they still informed. But Trevor Noah's gone, so it's literally Joy Reid and Lester Holt. But he did it to himself, and I just feel at this point I don't have sympathy for. I don't care what race you are. I don't have sympathy for you if you set yourself up. And that's what he did. He got too big for his britches. You got set up, and then you fell into the trap that they set for you. You stupid. So you deserve what you get. When it comes to Tucker Carlson, you cost them almost $800 million. You cost them more than 3/4, right? More than 3/4 of a billion.
Mm-hmm.
800 million.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even why he got fired. I think ultimately he got fired because he started talking about his bosses, and they didn't like
Yeah.
that. That's the only reason why Tucker got fired. Tucker didn't get fired because Tucker has done some horrible shit on his show, and never once did they bat an eye about it. Got nothing to do with it. It's not like they got sick and tired of not being able to necessarily control him, because y'all haven't been able to control him for years. It's literally because he got so out of control that he felt he had the power to go after the bosses and nobody could touch him. And that's ultimately what he hurt y'all feelings. And when he started hurting your feelings, now all of a sudden y'all was willing to take that hit and get him fired. Because like when I was researching it, you know, like they were saying how Tucker Carlson didn't even have like real advertisements anymore. Like it wasn't like, yeah, it was literally like basically his advertisement money was infomercials, was how he was getting his ad money for his shows. Yeah, people still like, he was still the most popular evening news show, but you wasn't even bringing in ad money. Like you wasn't even bringing in those big companies. It was just a ratings plus for Fox News. It was just a ratings plus. That's it. It's just because they could brag about the fact that he could pull in 3 million people to watch his racist bullshit every single night. And he talked dirty about y'all, and now all of a sudden y'all want to fire him because now y'all are willing to take that hit in the ratings, which is crazy because they took a hit.
Mm-hmm. But and it's the same thing. Like Don Lemon, like I said, because we talked about him in the last episode, and my opinion doesn't change. The moments that he showed when he hit back at that man, yes, you have moments where you could be good at your job. Shit caught up to you, and I'm with you. Once they moved him from the show, once they moved him from prime time, to me, because when they have the first when they start firing all the people, I'm like, why didn't they get rid of Don Lemon? And then when they moved, okay, it's just a matter of time. So, and like you said, you set yourself up. All your shit was going to come out, and especially you also, all the shit started coming out, the shit that they kept hidden and buried for all those years about just how horrible he was behind the scenes. When all, it's like, okay, he's about to lose his job. Something's going to come down the pipe. And he and Tucker Carlson just what, like Siamese at this point, like this. I conjoined dogs, two sides of a. They both got to the point where they thought they were bigger than what they were. They thought that they were, I guess, the news, or that they were the. And like you said, Lemon, you're the last of an old CNN, you know, because they're slowly but surely trying to turn CNN what faux news should have been, the conservative version of quote unquote news, whatever. It's probably going to be the conservative news network here before long. But Carlson is like, dude, do you not realize, like, his was a case of not being able to read the room. You just cost them 800. Okay. So I'm still salty about that. No, I may not necessarily fire you at this point because you're my moneymaker, but you don't know when, because they said that the straw that actually broke the camel's back is that he went to some speech. He gave some speech. He said some shit that just really rubbed the powers that be the wrong way. And they said it wasn't even Rupert that fired him, it was Lachlan. And I'm like, oh shit. So we'll see. But like I said, I know we haven't seen the end of Tucker Carlson. Do you think we've seen the end of Don Lemon?
You know what I think they should do? I think they should start a podcast together.
Back to the old Crossfire days.
Yeah, I think they should do
a
Tucker and Don show. You know,
I
think so. Like, you know how much money they can make off of that?
They would.
And all
they
would
would
need
make
is
a
a
lot.
year, because I don't think they'll survive a year working together. All they would need is a year.
Oh, so you're basically saying let them take.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, if Tucker Poo, Boo Boo, if you hearing me, call up Don and see if he want to do it. I'm telling you,
Y'all make
do the
money.
show. That's money right there, Boo Boo. But I also think, here's the thing. Did you hear about the Tucker 5?
The Tucker 5.
Oh, you ain't hear about the Tucker 5? Fox.
All about the bullshit they got on him.
Yes. So that's why I
Yeah.
think when he finally came out, he never once named Fox. He never said anything that could be used against them whatsoever. He never showed his true feelings when he came out with that little fake speech. Okay. And they said that, you know, it could also be on, he has a non-compete. And he can't go to Newsmax because it ain't big enough for him, or OAN because it's not big enough for him. They don't pull enough. Like, yeah, they've been kind of moving it up, but they ain't on Tucker level. Plus, I don't think he could talk bad about Fox. He can't go to Fox's enemy because they got that 5.
Yeah, I can only imagine what's in that 5. Well, he can go spend that Swanson frozen food money. You know, it's not like to work. But so also the NBC CEO was let go because of relationship. So yeah, just men do it. Men being men these days, I guess. What?
No, I was just saying ooh when you said men being men.
Oh, okay. So Tammy the other night, she said she was at Buffalo Wild Wings. I love it. She said she was at Buffalo Wild Wings and it was so crowded. And when she said, I was like, oh, and I wasn't even thinking, I'm like, Buffalo Wild Wings. And then I just thought about it for a moment. I'm like, oh, it's draft night. And then I read the rest of it. She goes, I wish it was the NFL draft. And my response was, you should listen when I do the sports.
Technically, last time you did sports, you did not send me nothing that said that the NFL draft it was just such a surprise. Like, I went in, I had ordered my food, went in to go pick up my food, and it was like I drove around 3 times to find a parking thing because all the parking spaces were gone. I was like, what the heck is going on? And then so like I walk in and all of a sudden I hear, I knew it, I told you. And I was like, what the heck? And I look up and they have the screens all have different sports. So the first thing that I saw was the Astro game. And then I saw a Yankee game playing right next to it. So I said, what the heck? Like, that don't even seem that exciting. Like, I was really confused. And then I looked to the side of me at another screen, and sure enough was the NFL draft. And I said, oh, shit. And I looked around. There were no seats in Buffalo Wild. Like, no seats whatsoever. Like, it was packed. Everybody went to go watch the NFL draft. I was just like, still does not make me want to get into sports. So I still don't have any type of inkling to have a conversation about sports. But I will say is it's huge. It's huge. And I'm just going to stay away from sporting bars from here on out.
Can y'all hear Bear wanting to get in?
Yes.
Come on, Bear. Okay, so if we did video, y'all could see the cuteness that is Bear. And anyway, so really quick, LeBron and the Lakers, they moved on in the playoffs, and I sound excited LeBron or a Lakers fan, but they were playing the Grizzlies, and this dude named Dylan Brooks, he spoke to specialist or whatever, and they were asking him about LeBron, and you want to know what he said, Tammy?
What he said?
He said he don't can't drop 40 on him. So the Lakers
40 what?
have been
40 what?
40 points. 40 points.
Go tell that dude to sit his ass down.
Thank you. See, even you know that. So you know what? After that,
he's one of the best basketball players of all time.
The Lakers woke up and they went ham. It's like he poked the fucking bear. And not only did LeBron, the whole entire Lakers team responded, and they beat the shit out of the Grizzlies. Like, and I was happy because I'm like, dude, I'm not even a Lakers fan. Like, I ride with the Clippers, but you got me cheering for the Lakers because you was just so fucking disrespectful. Like, and all I said was, they just don't know when to shut the fuck up. Like, dude,
they
come
don't
on
respect
now.
your elders.
Thank you. And so then they had that meme from The Wire where Idris Elba says, if you come for the king, you best not miss. Like, dude, yeah, it was bad. So, but you know, James, dude. And then in the NFL, speaking of the draft, Lamar Jackson got his bag. He got a $260 million deal, $185 million of it guaranteed. Jalen Hurts got his bag for like 2 weeks. Jalen Hurts was the highest paid player in the NFL. His deal's like 260, 250. He got like 60, 100 something guaranteed, which in the NFL is the guaranteed money that counts. So the two highest paid players in the NFL, and they are quarterbacks. So yeah, I'm all about that. And then Aaron Rodgers ended up being a Jet. So there you go, Tammy. Yankee season. I haven't said that lately. Aaron Rodgers. He played for the Green Bay Packers. Now he plays for the Jets. And did you see? Now I know you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know he and Rob McElhenney bought a football team. And their soccer team was promoted. So it was like Ted Lasso in real life. It was a really big deal when it happened. It was so cute. And seeing just how many people supported them, and like the whole Welcome to Wrexham thing on FX and Hulu. It's really good. I highly suggest you. Not a sports fan, but it's good TV. So there you go. I'm going to find a way to convert you. At least I've seen Remember the Titans.
Oh, I watch sports movies. No, don't sleep. I don't sleep on sports movies. I love sports movies. I don't like sports. There's a difference. Okay. Sports movies is not sports. That's not sports. That's acting.
All right. Well, thank you for enjoying the sports update.
You're welcome.
The writer's strike is getting closer, scheduled to begin on May 1st. So we will see what happens. Now, last time we talked about Harry Potter getting a series and a 10-year commitment. And I told you I had mixed feelings. I couldn't quite put my finger on why I was so hesitant, especially since I'm like a huge Harry Potter fan. But now Twilight is also getting the series treatment. And I figured, what would you think about Twilight? Would you be as hyped for a Twilight series as you are for a Harry Potter series?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
They not even on the same level.
Were you a Twilight fan? Did you read the Twilight books?
I read the Twilight books. That is correct. But Twilight is nothing compared to Harry Potter. Like, Twilight don't even compare to Hunger Games.
Damn.
Like, I mean, and I enjoyed Twilight, but Twilight wasn't great. Twilight was a time growing up where, now granted, I think I was an adult by the time Twilight came out, but I was still young. But Twilight was like a time when you just fell into the popularity of it, right? Jacob versus Edward, you know, like that whole concept of vampires, because vampires were popular, and werewolves, and I just fell into that because I did enjoy that genre. But when you compare it to other book series and movie series, it is nothing compared to Hunger Games. Definitely nothing compared to Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter's a whole world. I'm just saying.
Well, see, And I got into Twilight before it became just like ultra popular, like the first book, and then the series grew, it became like even more popular and all of that. And I agree with you. As a young adult, I think I like the romance of it all. Um just the there we're live. You're gonna have to calm your nerves. Just the romance of it all and stuff like that. So, but I figured out what I figured out my problem with this is I get that you want to reintroduce these things to a whole generation who has no idea, like Harry Potter books or being able to catch Harry Potter references. I get excited, more so excited than I would about the Twilight series. But as far as my problem with it is, I don't want a rehash movies. The movies have already been made. For better or worse, they are what they are. I don't need you to come back and give me versions of the movies and put in the TV series things that the movies skipped out on. So I for the series, but you're going to have to be really creative. Yes, you can go back to the origin story about Bella and Edward and how they met, but I'm going to need you to be more and don't just try to rehash the movie into a TV series and be more detailed with stuff that happened in the book. That's not going to work for me for Harry Potter or Twilight. So I'm gonna need the authors to give a little bit more leeway in the storytelling and the creativity of these things. If you want to go back and say, you know, she was always trying to find a way to rehash the series or to fix some of the things. I guess know what you want to do. If you want to retell it, like I think this would be a perfect time. Harry Potter might be a little bit more difficult because, like you said, I will. It is more iconic than Twilight. I get that. But I also think by having a series, it also gives you a little bit more. Again, I don't want to see you just rehash the movies in television form. That would, but that
I,
so that was. I'm sorry. That was what I was. That's what I couldn't quite put the last time we talked about this. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
we also have to take into consideration that Stephanie Myers is not a great writer. She created a world and people fell in love with the world. But when you compare the book series and the content and what you can expand on the Harry Potter world. There is so much from each book that never made it into the movies. There are characters, there are scenes that were significant, that upset people when they didn't make it into the movies. Like when you think about like Goblet of Fire and how much was literally taken out in order to make that movie 2 hours when it could have been two movies. So with Harry Potter, there's way more content that can be expanded. The world can be expanded. I think with Twilight, what are you expanding on? What are you rehashing? I mean, she literally wrote a whole nother book called Midnight Sun from Edward's point of view, and it was literally a repeat of Twilight.
And then she basically wrote a book from where Edward and Bella were switched characters.
Yeah,
Um,
like she doesn't have any range. She doesn't have any range. There's no range to her world. Like even when you think Hunger Games, there is range to Hunger Games. We are gonna be seeing it with. Oh my god, I saw the trailer. So excited. So excited. For
for
Hunger
the
Games,
prequel.
yes. For Hunger Games, there is a range. You like people want to know what happened before Katniss. How did you get to the part with the Hunger Games? What was the war like? Like there is a world that can be expanded on in Hunger Games. There is a world that can be expanded on for Harry Potter. There is not necessarily a world that can be expanded on with Twilight because the things she could have focused on, she did not focus on. So there's not enough momentum to expand on those worlds for this new generation that's coming up. This new generation, I don't think Edward and Jacob is going to sell it to them.
Well, see, and
it's my opinion.
And I agree with you to a certain extent. I love the things that where you said you think the things that she could have focused on, she didn't. And I think the series them an opportunity. When I said fix some things, you put it better. I think the series would give them an opportunity to do that. I think a world. I think this would maybe give them an opportunity to create a world to expand on, and that's what I meant, especially with allow them to take more creative license and maybe use the books as a template, but do not use as your guiding source for telling the story for building the world. Does that?
Yeah.
Like, especially the way they tried to do it in the movies. Like, so use the books and the things that happen in the books, like, and use it as a template. But you know, the blind, what we now realize, you know, the blind patriarchy that Edward had, and then trying to blame it on, well, he's a 120-year-old vampire. Some of those tendencies. So, like I said, it gives you a lot. It gives you an opportunity to fix some of the things that were wrong with if you reboot it into another series. But definitely, I agree with you. If you're just going to use it as a way to rehash the or to try to keep telling stories that you don't quite know how to tell, because you're right, she's not the best author. Her other book series succeed as well, and so it was like, okay, but you know, struck lightning. You had lightning in a bottle, and if you can keep trying to make money off of it, do that. But the lack of success of the rehash tells you that you've got to do something better. That you've really got to, especially now with this new generation who don't take shit from anybody about anything. Like, they will watch 16 Candles and trash, and it's like, look, we know there's some problematic parts. This is still a classic movie, you know. So it gives you an opportunity to do better, I think. Okay, so Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, she just keeps winning. We kind of talked earlier, but you heard she signed with WME, right?
Is that an entertainment company?
Okay, yes, it's one of the biggest agencies, agencies in Hollywood, in the world.
Good job. Good job.
By Ari Emanuel. Like, you know the show Entourage, right? The agent in Entourage was kind of his brother Rahm Emanuel was Obama's mayor, was Obama's chief campaign manager before he went on to run for mayor of Chicago and fuck up Chicago. But so Ari Emanuel takes WME is like a powerhouse. They own the UFC and the WWE. She has a powerhouse team, and Ari Emanuel is one of the main people. The CEO of the company is one of the main people overseeing her team. So it's like, yeah, she basically hired the king of fuck around and find out. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting these next few months. So, and the agent supporting her for a while, ever since they came back, and she finally chose the one that was right for her in the Archwell team. So, Island over there cries about her going away. Oh, baby. And all I keep remembering is who was it? Yeah, Rudolph, when she goes, oh, they could have had a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Like, all the problems are having, besides the ones who are just blind monarchists and the royalists who get paid to spout shit, like, you had the couple to put front and center. And Harry and William and Kate, they could have just been lazy and Meghan do all the work, and you get all the. I mean, y'all could have had it so good, but you fucked up. You could have had a bad one, and you let. And now, I think if I even think, even though he is the spare, and tell me if you did, I think the coronation would have even been more popular. You would have had more interest in it if Harry and Meghan were still part of, like, it's just because people would want to see her, people would want to see him, they would want to see the roles that it just it seems like it wouldn't be such a clusterfuck. And I also think part of the reason why the coronation is because did you hear he wants them to pledge allegiance to him and his heirs?
Yeah, like they did his mother.
Girl,
They
girl.
did it. Look. They did it for the Queen for decades. He just no
But
longer
now,
wants them to do it to Her Majesty. It is His Majesty. But they literally, like, you say that, and I'm like, no, that's sense, because they actually do that. Australia does it. Canada does it. All the countries of the Commonwealth, they do that. They pledge their allegiance when they get hired for government and everything like that. They pledge their allegiance to Her Majesty, the Queen, whatever her full name is. So I'm actually not surprised that he wants that to switch to now pledging your allegiance to His Majesty,
no,
King Charles.
I get it. I get it. Like the government
I mean, I
when
don't
they're
agree with
sworn
it,
in.
but
No, I get the government because just like our people are supposed to pledge their loyalty to the Constitution and protect the country and do what's in the best interest of, and not their donors and their bottom line and all that bullshit. I get that part. But no, he wants the people there to their allegiance. And I'm like, what the fuck?
no, but that's how it goes though, Eddie.
That, like in the
Yeah,
year
like no,
in the
like
year
I'm
2023 of our Lord, that is some weird shit.
hey,
Especially
it's been
considering that you are more or less a figurehead of the government, like at this point.
yeah, but you're a figurehead who is the largest landowner and is still king of the country, even if you're not an absolute monarch. People still refer to you as the King of England or the King of the United Kingdom. So they did it for his mom when she was first coronated. They've done it for years. Like, I watched this
That was
video
70
of
something years ago. Never mind.
no, but they still do it to this day. But even 70 something years ago, you have to remember, have they updated the monarchy? No.
Fuck no. They ran off of
So
us.
exactly. So of course he's gonna do what
Updated
his mother did.
monarchy. Good Lord. Anyway, so I think I figured out how Camila Queen, official queen, and not the king queen consort. I think I figured out the deal. Tell me if this sounds about right. I
Okay.
for him to not get rid of the pedophile, Prince pedophile. I think in order to keep protecting Prince mama deal, that Camila would have to be full on queen, not queen consort, but full on queen. That's the only thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I can
But
believe
you
that.
can okay. I thought about as I was going through this, I started trying to think how the fuck, and Diana just was just like, well, but we don't have to get into all that. But I'm just like, how the and get. I was like, okay, I guess being someone's main side piece, for your whole life, I guess it does pay off. But yeah, so
It
I was
also
like,
plays to
but
the legitimacy of his wife, because this is a new generation currently, and the older generation that remembers Diana and their marriage, and Camilla being the other woman and everything like that, they still talk about that woman so horribly. Now granted, it's deserved, but I'm just saying, like, they've talked about her so horribly. She's never had the true respect. They say she's the fake, like, she's the fake one of it all. So I think it was also to legitimize his marriage, and to get it where you can't talk about the queen the same way that you talk about everybody else. Because
I
that's
guess
kind of
so,
treason.
but, because Philip was never made King Philip. He was just always Prince. But, aside like, and that was the thing, especially considering that, when she was younger, but still in full, pretty adamantly said that Camilla would never be queen. And I remember when they married, that was one of the things she said later, but she will never be queen. And so, but anyway. All right. Just something. Did you ever watch the Blue Beetle trailer? No. Did I just answer the question for you? No. Did you ever watch the Captain Marvel trailer? No. Okay. Well, you failed your homework.
Wait. Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Yeah, the Captain Marvel, the Marvels trailer.
Oh, I actually forgot about that one.
What am I going to do with you? Okay, moving on. BTS, SUGA, August D-Day. Somewhere in between.
Oh, love it. Absolutely. Like, it did not disappoint. No, do not ask me now. I still have not listened to Jimin's album. Okay, but I will say I've been very busy in my life. And and it's funny because Jimin came out earlier, and two of my other artists that I absolutely love have just three of my artists that I absolutely love recently came out. Like, I just completely shifted my focus from listening to Jimin's album that I haven't listened to yet to listening to their album and kind of seeing like what they put out. So it's kind of like he just kind of fell to the background because it was like back to back to back with the artists that I really was excited about.
Okay. Well, SUGA didn't disappoint. We'll go into more detail on that when we do our K-pop, our yet to be determined episode for 2023. His concert is actually really good. The people have to like the full thing, and he's actually a really good entertainer. And and kind of like J-Hope, you don't miss BTS in the sense that they're not going to be there, so it's not like you're looking for them, but how good they are on their own. And they can carry those shows on their own, and in the individual efforts. So I think this is a good thing because you kind of get to see some members that you wouldn't necessarily don't necessarily shine individually when they're all seven together. You kind of get to see them in a different light and see the hard work and their artistry. Like, he plays the piano, he plays the guitar, he does like an acoustic version of the song Seesaw, which I love. It's just really good. And SUGA is really talented as a producer and a writer and all of that. But so now you performer, not like in the background or not taking the stage when it's his turn to shine in a rap verse. You get to see him, the artist, and if you haven't, I highly recommend that you hit up YouTube and watch some of the clips, or maybe watch the show. I know you'll probably just watch the clip and just see for yourself what he does, what he brings to the table individually. He's really good. Taeyang, it was hit or miss for me. I listened to it and I liked some songs, and then there were some songs I did not like, so I'm not gonna say. It was all right. 17. I listened. I didn't hate it. I have to go back and give it a deeper listen. So by the time we get to our K-pop episode, I will have a full, better analysis for 17. So what did you think about 17? Because I know you.
I was really, really excited about it, and it took me a couple listens for the single, because it's kind of like what it first reminded me of was Hot, and I wasn't a fan of Hot from their last comeback. But now I loved it. Like, there is, I think it's like 6 songs. There's 6 songs. So there's 2. Yeah. I think there's 6 songs. 5. something like that, whatever. But there's 2 group songs, and then there's 3 group songs. No, it's 2 group songs. It's 5 songs. It's 2 group songs. It's 1 song, which is the hip hop team, another song for the performance team, and another song for the vocal team. And I have to say, out of all 5 of those songs, my absolute favorite is the one from the performance team. I love that song. I Don't Know, But You Love Me. I love that song. It's so good, which is surprising because I was like, I thought the vocal team was just kill it, but I didn't like the song that the vocal team did. I like the hip hop team as well. But yeah, so I really love 17. I guess we'll do I'll go more in detail when we get to the K-pop episode, but it was really good. It was better than Attica. I'm just put that out there.
What isn't better than Attica? Attica almost made me dump 17. Like, made me be like, nah.
Look, every single group, including BTS, has that one album
that's just like,
that
what
is
the
just
fuck?
a complete bust, and it's just trash to me. And for 17, it was Attica, but
see, it's like, I don't know how to. Trust me, I responded to it for you. She tells no lies, no cap. Okay, who was the other? So I know 17. Who else were you really excited about?
Oh, Icon. They didn't come out with their full album. They're coming out on Thursday or Friday. No, Friday. So they come out on Friday with their first album under their new label since they've left YG as a group. And so I'm really excited about the album, but I really like the direction that Icon is taking, that they have more control over their sound. It's more of a hip hop feel to it, which I hear is more their style than what they were coming out with under YG. So I'm really excited about what they're going to bring for their album.
So they took our advice.
They took your advice, because I believe you were the one who said that they needed more control and more. That was the direction you wanted them to go in. So yeah.
Okay. I'll have to listen to the Icon song. All right. Coachella Redux. I know you didn't watch. It wasn't as mid as the lineup with Pink. Actually, I was surprised. I actually enjoyed their set. And Labyrinth was amazing. Love Labyrinth. Kid Leroy was also known one of my favorites. Bad Bunny blew the roof off the place, even though there was no roof because it's outdoors. But Bad Bunny was like the highlight, like definitely. Yeah, just like no wrong. Even dating Kendall Jenner, he can do no wrong. Frank Ocean.
She is the best of the Jenners, though.
I understand kind of now why Frank Ocean did not allow his set to be streamed. Just from what I saw, it was a hot mess, and they said it was a hot to the show because he got hurt or something, wasn't prepared. It just seemed like it was just chaos all the way up until the show itself generally got panned. The clips that I saw were not great, so he pulled out the second weekend. Blink 182 and some other people took the headlining spot, and someone who was there, they filmed it and they're threatening to release it as a documentary. They're trying to sue them to stop it because he didn't. And because I know everybody, like I stayed up to like time to try to see Frank Ocean, and I was like, the fuck, we're not gonna get to see Frank Ocean. And I knew a little bit before then, but I'm like, they're gonna mind. So, and it was just a last minute thing that they announced that they weren't going to stream Frank Ocean's set. So it's like now I kind of understand. So anyway, and I think that's about it. The palette cleanser belongs to Jack Harlow this week. I take your silence as a no. Jack Harlow.
I do. Oh. I was trying to think of the song, the main song I know from him, but I do know who that is. Yes.
Okay. Well, Jack Harlow says he got people in their feelings because white rapper next to Eminem, and then
thank goodness you added that, because Eddie, you had me about to go off.
Yeah, no, he gave props to the GOAT. like, I
Okay,
don't even
because
think.
when you said that, I said the fuck he is.
And see, and here's my thing. I get that Eminem ain't. I get that he. But to me, Eminem, I take the white off. Like Eminem is just one of the greatest rappers to me. Like, period. Like, point.
Like he would be higher on certain people that only want to identify Black rappers as being the ones who have pushed hip hop and rap forward. And the only reason why is because he's white. But if you took off the fact that he's white, like Eminem is one of the greatest rappers, greatest lyricists of all time. And he deserves way more credit than sometimes people want to give him.
And SUGA, speaking of SUGA, like SUGA has that same flow, like the cadence.
Yes.
Like when he just goes and he just starts talking, like he can spit like just as fast as Eminem, and it's amazing. It's a thing of beauty.
You know who SUGA remind me of? You remember that Asian rapper? I say Asian just because he was an Asian guy, but his Jin. You ever heard Jin?
Mm-mm.
He was like, I want to say mid 2000s, early 2000s, mid 2000s. He was, you know, he's amazing. Like his flow was absolutely phenomenal. Like for a minute, like he had made a name for himself. I actually don't know where he is, but I really, really loved his flow. I thought he was amazing. So when I first like really listened to SUGA and how SUGA put the words together, and SUGA raps in Korean, Jin rapped in English, and his flow was sick. So like I always tell people, they'd be like, who's one of my, you know, they always ask like, who's your favorite rapper, miss? And I'd be like, I said, you wouldn't know who they are. And they were like, who is it? And I said, well, one of my favorite rappers is SUGA. And they were like, from BTS? And I said, yes. I was just like, if I played a song for y'all right now and I actually printed out the lyrics so you could see what he's saying, I said, he's speaking more truth than all these crap rappers that y'all listen to today. Like, yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I was in their feelings because they were like, what about Mac Miller? What about Mac Miller? And I'm like, yeah.
Who?
Mac Miller, he was a rapper, away, unfortunately, a few years back because of a drug overdose. But
Ariana Grande, right?
Mac Miller was on a level, like, because he's just so talented. And yeah, so I was like, you can't really compare. Unfortunately, Mac Miller is no longer here with us, but Mac was just on his own. Mac was on a whole nother level. But yeah, so that was, you know, that's it. But I have to send you. I have to send you something. And finally, Barnes, the 16-year-old senior who is graduating this year, over $9 million in scholarship money, acceptance into over 100. He's going to make his decision by prom. Makes me feel like I wasted my life.
To 130 universities.
I think which ones he could get into, and then he wanted to break the record, so he broke the Guinness World Record for acceptance.
Okay, I'm going to say something unpopular. I mean, congratulations to him, but that's a dick move. Because you're just bragging. Why do you need to apply to 130 something universities? That's a dick move. But congratulations for getting accepted to all of them.
You just called a 16-year-old kid a dick.
I said his actions. It's a dick move. I didn't call him a dick. I called his actions a dick move. And I'm sticking to it. Like, it really, like, why? I just, like, what? Come on.
I think he wanted to break the world record.
Yeah, but what people don't realize is when you get accepted, that means somebody didn't.
Get accepted, yeah.
That means somebody didn't. So you literally just took somebody's spot just so you could break a world record. That's literally what you did. You took somebody's acceptance spot just so you can break a world record, knowing you probably wasn't going to go to 125 of those universities. They weren't even an option for you. You weren't even thinking of attending. You probably got a list of 5 and still applied to 125 and took a spot from somebody that could have been accepted. all because you wanted to break a record. I'm sorry.
Well, I think he wants to do computer science, so I said he should probably go to MIT, or is it? So those would probably be two of the better ones, maybe Stanford. And then, I'm just always partial to Harvard and Notre Dame, Stanford. But yeah, alrighty. Well, I guess that does it for this week's Rewind. Thank you for always. Be sure to like, listen, follow, comment anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Did I staple this backwards? I think. Anyway. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment, pop culture news, as well as other amazing at the Popcorn Wine Down. That's it. That's the plug. Thank you as always. And until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Don't be a dick. Peace.